You are Locked On Pistons Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Detroit on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Well, my goodness, what an entertaining basketball game all the way down to the wire. Somehow, some way, the Pistons outlast the LA Lakers and earn the 117-114 win despite not scoring in the final 3 minutes. How did they do it? Well, we'll break it down. The Pistons holding off the late Lakers rally. The bench was huge tonight. Can't wait to get into how good the Pistons bench played. And of course, we'll wrap it up with our studs and duds. It's all part of the Locked On Pistons postcast. And I am your host, Jake Rietma. You can follow me on Twitter at Jake_Rietma. And this is Locked On Sports Detroit. It's your post-game destination for the Detroit Pistons, post-game destination for the Detroit Lions, for the Detroit Tigers, and the Michigan Wolverines, all under the Locked On umbrella. Fired up, as always, to have you for Locked On Pistons. Got to give a huge shout-out to The Daily Show with Koo, bringing you all the action on the daily, and this is your post-game show. So a live reaction show after the Detroit Pistons games. That's where you can find us free and available wherever you get your podcasts, and, of course, on YouTube. And as always, we appreciate you making the Locked On Sports Detroit page your post-game destination. Don't forget your favorite podcast now is a newsletter introducing the Locked On Pistons daily newsletter. It's your one-stop for ultimate team and league coverage, and it's delivered right to your inbox. So sign up for free now at LockedOnDaily.com. That's LockedOnDaily.com, and start your day with the all-new free Locked On Pistons newsletter. And today's show, well, it's made possible and brought to you by our good friends over at FanDuel. That's right, America's #1 sports book. The NFL playoffs are almost here, and it's not too late to get in on the regular season action with FanDuel, because right now, new customers can finish the season strong with $250 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. All you have to do is visit FanDuel.com. Now, what an entertaining basketball game this was. If you stayed up late, thanks for staying up late. A West Coast game, I know, are not always the easiest to stay up for, but hey, now it's officially on the East Coast, Christmas Eve. So let me be the first to wish you all a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. Merry Christmas Eve. And the Pistons, now all they've done is won their first 2 games of this West Coast road trip, and in thrilling fashion tonight. 117-114 over the Lakers. And the Pistons had a fourth quarter lead in this one, did not score in the final 3 minutes, but hey, all is well that ends well. I wouldn't necessarily recommend that as a game plan moving forward. Hey, let's just, get a big lead in the fourth and try to hold on to it. But that's kind of what we saw tonight. But a lot of big plays down the stretch that helped the Pistons prevail in this one. You got to give the Lakers a lot of credit as well. They did not give up. And I mentioned that late rally that they made. And this was a game of runs, even going all the way back to the beginning of this game. In the first quarter, if I check my notes, the Pistons trailed by as many as 10, and then they ended the quarter on a 10-0 run. Simone Fontecchio, what a play, what a game for him. And that was all part of the bench effort that I mentioned in the open. More on that in a little bit. But Fontecchio made that thrilling three-pointer at the end of the first quarter and then continued the Pistons' 14-0 run on a 7-0 run by himself. I thought it was one of his better games. Got to give some love to the rookie, Ron Holland. Not only did he have the thrilling dunks, but he also played really good on defense. And again, he looked a lot more comfortable and a lot more confident than what we've seen from the rookie so far this season. So loved what I saw from Ron Holland. And even when Cade was on the bench, you saw the bench guys step up enough to sustain a level of play that really prepared and propelled this team to victory throughout the course of this evening. And of course, I got to mention Malik Beasley, and it's still the same story with Malik Beasley as it's been all season long. A volume shooter, so of course he's going to have some misses, but 5 more big triples tonight. Overall, he was 8 of 15 from the floor, led the Pistons in scoring with 21 points, and all off the bench, part of a 54-point performance from the bench. I mentioned Malik Beasley with 21. You got to give some love to Simone Fontecchio with 13, 10 for Ron Holland. He was plus 14, and 8 for Azar Thompson. And maybe even one of the more impactful players in other different categories, aside from scoring, was Paul Reed. And he was plus 20 for the night. He got under the skin of Anthony Davis, forced that technical foul on AD. And in a 3-point game, every single point so critical. The Pistons, of course, took advantage of that technical foul that was called on AD late in that contest. That, again, was an example of Paul Reed getting under his skin. So Simone Fontecchio, plus 19. Ronald Holland was plus 14. Paul Reed was plus 20, and Malik Beasley plus 11. That's the kind of effort that the bench put forth tonight and really complimented the starters. And at times when this Pistons team has fallen short, it's been because of the lack of depth. It's because Cade's the only guy doing anything, and that wasn't the case tonight. You had a lot of guys contributing, which was great to see. Now, you'll see it in the title of today's video. LeBron James had his way at times, still playing at an extremely high level, about to turn 40 years old, a testament to the longevity that he's had in the league. Whether you think he's the GOAT or not, tonight he was a force for the Los Angeles Lakers. You got to give him a lot of credit with that triple-double that he finished with. 28 points to lead all scores, 10 of 16 from the floor, and oh, by the way, 11 rebounds and 11 assists. Now, Cade didn't necessarily have his best game, but he had a couple of big buckets. The one behind the back dribble where he's going in transition, shakes the defender with the behind the back dribble, and then finishes on LeBron. That was awesome. And you love to see stuff like that from Cade Cunningham. Had the big game the other night on the road to start the road trip against the Phoenix Suns, where he was knocking down threes in Kevin Durant's face. And then tonight, taking it to LeBron James step for step. Now, obviously, LeBron had a big game as well, but Cade finished with 20 to go along with 10 assists. So another great performance from Cade Cunningham. Now, the end of the game, we got to talk about that because that part wasn't exactly pretty. And that's why I'm using the phrases like outlast, hung on, that sort of thing, because the Pistons had this one, I don't want to say in the bag, but the Lakers go on an 8-0 run that took an 11-point lead for the Pistons all the way down to 3. And the Pistons did not score for the last 3 minutes of that game, a combination of empty possessions, whether it be bad shot selection, whether it be turnovers, but the Pistons did their best to choke this one away, and thank goodness they did not. And again, I was pulling my hair out that last possession because LeBron got a really good look, and it was deja vu with the Miami Heat. Then when you were up 3 and Tyler Hero just made drained a 3 to force overtime. Now the Pistons did go on to win that game, but I mean, I just don't understand. And it played out in the Pistons' favor this time. So it's hard to really hone in on the point of why did the Pistons not foul up 3. But I feel like so much more has to go right when you're up 3, or I should say when you're down 3-2, get fouled, go to the free throw line, make one, miss the second, get the offensive board, and then put it back in, compared to you're down 3 and the opposition allows you a really good look at a 3-pointer. And that's what happened tonight. Cade got cut off on the inbounds pass, and LeBron had pretty much wide open, albeit really deep, probably 2 or 3 steps behind the 3-point line. But still, that's a shot that he makes often enough to where that percentage, I gotta believe, is far more than the percentage of fouling the opposition, sending them to the free throw line, forcing them to make one, get their own offensive rebound, and then put it back in. I just don't understand it. And Cade, I guess you say to his credit, was transparent in the post-game interview. That's why I was on a little bit later, because I wanted to hear what Cade had to say after the game. He said, it wasn't our plan. We were going to trust our defense. It's not a matter of not trusting your defense. It's a matter of playing the right way to win a basketball game. And fortunately, the Pistons, I'll say it, got lucky down the stretch tonight. But all is well that ends well. They go to 2-0 on the current road trip with the win over the Los Angeles Lakers, 117-114 tonight. Now 13-17 on the season. And how about this? 8 road wins for the Pistons. I think it had something to do tonight with the slick Bad Boys uniforms that they were using with the black and orange. You see it behind my shoulder there if you're watching on YouTube, but I've got the love for the Detroit Bad Boys in the shot here, and that was the uniforms that they were wearing. But Pistons get the win. We are going to break down that bench performance and the way they were able to propel the Pistons to victory. We'll take your comments as well, and we'll wrap it up with studs and duds. Don't go anywhere. We're just getting started on a late night edition, Christmas Eve edition of the Locked On Pistons Postcast. Hey, this episode of the Locked On Pistons Postcast is brought to you by Skylight Frames. That's right, brought to you by Skylight Frames. And now is the best time of the year to tell you all about Skylight Frames, my friends. Here's how it works. If, in fact, you're missing someone this holiday season, you want them to be a part of your festivities from afar. Maybe gift giving isn't your love language. Sometimes you overthink it and wind up with something disappointing or nothing at all. Are you buying for someone who has everything, or it seems like they have everything, and you don't want to waste your money on useless clutter that no one really needs? We've got the perfect gift for you. Skylight Frame is the touchscreen digital photo frame your whole family will love. You can upload thousands of photos with your phone and watch them appear in seconds. It's so easy to use. Setup takes less than 60 seconds. I'm telling you guys, I got my grandparents this for Christmas, and earlier this holiday season, they absolutely loved it. And I loved being able to upload photos right on the spot, and voila, you watch them show up on the frame. It's awesome. Seamless sharing. So invite your friends and family to easily share their photos via the free Skylight mobile app or email, and no account or subscription is required. The touchscreen is a game changer, my friend. You swipe through the photos, you tap to see new photos sent, and then you tap the heart button to say thank you to the sender. It's better than social media because this holiday season, everybody's on social media, but it's so empty. This is a gift that's meaningful. It's a great way to provide and share photos without posting it for the world or having to print, store hard copies. Don't worry about likes. It's all about the family. That's what matters. And right now, as a special limited time offer for our listeners, get $20 off your purchase of a Skylight Frame when you go to skylightframe.com/NBA. That's skylightframe.com/NBA. Get $20 off your purchase now at skylightframe.com/NBA. All right, Pistons take down the Lakers. What a start to this West Coast swing over the holiday season. Back in action the day after Christmas on the 26th. And full disclosure, as we continue to work through the holiday season, I hope everybody has a wonderful time with friends and family and enjoys the festivities. Let's get to your comments here on a live Locked On Pistons late night edition of the Pistons Postcast. Demetrius McNeil, can always count on him staying up late with us for the Pistons Postcast. Pistons force the Lakers seal their fate. 162 points in the paint, the other 28 points off 20 Lakers turnovers. There you go. Yeah, the Pistons defense was active. And I think my favorite play of the game was Ron Holland forcing that steal and then going up with the double clutch reverse me jam. And I thought Johnny Kane and Greg Kessler, who were tremendous on the call, were hilarious talking about, hey, if you're a rookie and you try that, you better make it because your ass is going on the bench if you miss that. And fortunately for the Pistons, he did not. He looked like an absolute natural with that, a high flyer. You love to see it. Now, more on the Pistons bench, because I just think it's so important to reiterate how impactful they were from the very jump. I talked about Simone Fontecchio, and then not just the scoring where he's going on a 7-0 run by himself, but collectively as a team, allowing this the reserves, or I should say contributing the reserves were to the solid play defensively as well. Paul Reed's probably the best example of that. Didn't score a point, but when he was on the floor, this Pistons team was impressive. Plus 20 overall when Paul Reed was on the floor. And maybe he's a guy, I know there was kind of the contract gymnastics that were going on with him where he was waived and then brought back on, and ways to work through the payroll there with the Detroit Pistons. That's why that was happening with Paul Reed. But now look at him go. He is thriving and making the most of his opportunities for this Detroit Pistons team. And then Malik Beasley, I gotta give Johnny Kane some love and a shout out. He's talked about the way Beasley comes into a game, and there's only one microwave, of course, in the Pistons history. But man, you talk about Malik Beasley as a modern day air fryer, because that's what all the kids are using now. And my goodness, he comes in quickly and heats up and provides that spark for the Pistons as they work with guys coming off the bench, and none better than Malik Beasley. And he had the 3-point going as well. So you got to love that. So if Vinny the Microwave Johnson, if he's the microwave, then if Vinny Johnson's the microwave, then man, Malik Beasley is the air fryer. And props to Johnny Kane on that one. That was hilarious. Other notes I had down as far as the way the Pistons battled through some adversity. There were some tough calls that went against the Pistons, and 2 really good challenges by JB Bickerstaff. First on Fontecchio nailing that what looked like a 3-pointer in the corner, but they called his legs for swinging open on an offensive foul, but absolutely brutal call. JB Bickerstaff challenges it, they overturn it, and although it was originally a 3-pointer, with the challenge in the review, they saw that his foot was on the line, so they brought it down to a 2-pointer. But that was a really important juncture of the game, because that was a huge bucket when the Pistons were struggling offensively, and it was late in the shot clock, and Fontecchio just drilled it. And correct challenge from JB Bickerstaff to negate the offensive foul that they, for whatever egregious reason, called on Simone Fontecchio, and awarded the Pistons with the bucket, albeit a 2-point bucket. The other one with the Pistons with the lead barely, and Anthony Davis driving to the hole late in that game, the bucket would have put them within 1. The Pistons were only up 3 at that time. 117 to 114. Anthony Davis receives the pass, and originally a foul was called on the Pistons. I believe it was against Jalen Duren, but point being, they took a look at it, and clearly Anthony Davis just missed the bunny instead of, in fact, being fouled. So I thought that was huge for the Detroit Pistons. So 2 really good challenges there from JB Bickerstaff. Now, again, that kind of goes back to the Pistons. They didn't finish this game the way you would have liked to see them, but they do get the win. And the Lakers had their chances, whether it be Anthony Davis with that blown short layup that I just talked about, or LeBron James or the Pistons up 3. LeBron got a great look at it from 3-point land to try and tie this game. And I would have lost it. I mean, it would have been every single exact emotion I felt when the Pistons allowed the Heat to dribble around and eventually shoot a 3-pointer and tie the game and force it to overtime. Because yes, anything can happen in overtime, but man, you think about giving a team some life and an opportunity in an extra session when you were the better team tonight. That's what would have happened, but thank goodness LeBron was not able to hit the 3-pointer. All right, we are going to wrap it up with our studs and duds. One of my studs might surprise you, but that's the kind of game it was. A lot of twists and turns, and we wrap it up in just a moment on the Locked On Pistons Postcast. Hey, this episode of the Locked On Pistons Postcast is brought to you by Built. That's right. what I love about Built, and they are making today's episode possible. If you're a renter, listen up. This is a total game changer. Thanks to Built, you can now earn points on rent payments, just like you do with groceries or travel. Paying rent now comes with serious perks, and it's completely free to join. Let me say that again. It's completely free to join Built. You can earn valuable Built points on your rent every day, spending at no extra cost. Redeem points towards flights, hotel stays, and even future rent payments. With over 500 airlines and 700,000 hotels in their programs, the possibilities truly are endless, my friends. Access unique experiences that are exclusive to Built members. I love using Built for travel. In fact, I did for my flight tomorrow morning, first thing. How about that? Start earning points on rent you're already paying by joining built.com. Go to joinbuilt.com/lockedonnba. That's joinbuilt.com/lockedonnba. One more time for you. Joinbuilt.com/lockedonnba. Make sure to use our link so they know we sent you. Don't wait. Start earning rewards today. Today's episode is also brought to you by FanDuel. America's #1 sportsbook is FanDuel, and the regular season is still humming in the National Football League, but you know the playoffs are almost here. But not to worry, because it's not too late to get in on the regular season action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers can finish the season strong with $250 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. FanDuel has many ways for you to pick up a W, and I love betting on which players will score a touchdown and how many points each team will score. It is thrilling. I'll tell you what, I even had a fun little prop bet that I had a hunch, I had an intuition. I thought, you know what, Sunday Night Football, I think the Cowboys are going to open with a field goal. Indeed, they did. It was plus 360. Of course, it hit. You got to love that. But that's just one of many examples where you get a hunch in the middle of the game and you got to make it happen. That's why I love FanDuel. All you have to do is go to FanDuel.com. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. That's FanDuel.com for your choice, your chance at $250 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. All right, we close it out with our studs and duds, and I'm not even going to make anybody wait for my surprising stud of tonight's game. The drum roll. It is JB Bickerstaff. I thought the game was coached well. He had the Pistons ready to go. They came out with energy. Adjustments were made when the Lakers went on their runs. And what I will say, the two challenges. It's so hard in the National Basketball Association when to know to use those challenges, but in two different spots, he used the challenge and it worked to perfection. He was 2 for 2 on challenges. Now, I'll also give JB Bickerstaff a dud for not following with the Pistons up 3 and the Lakers having the final possession of the game with the advancement of the basketball to the half-court session. All they had to do, and they did it, they executed it to perfection, set a couple of screens. They got Cade moving in the wrong direction. He was picked off, and lo and behold, LeBron James is wide open from well beyond the three-point line, but not anything he hasn't made with great regularity, and the Pistons dodge a bullet. So that's when it gets a little bit crazy if you're both a stud and a dud. Got to give a stud to Malik Beasley for leading the Pistons in scoring, 21 off the bench, 5 more made three-pointers. And as much as it pains me, got to give a stud to LeBron James. And somehow, some way, Father Time is not undefeated with LeBron James as he gets set to turn 40 years old. But in 35 minutes, he had 28 points to lead all scorers. He had 11 points, 11 rebounds, as well as 11 assists, and very efficient as well. I thought that's in fact where the Pistons kind of made their mark on this one from a statistical standpoint, because the Lakers shot it better. They shot it 54% compared to the Pistons 51%. But what happened was the Lakers turned it over a little bit too much. So with the Lakers turnovers. They had 20 of them, and the Pistons were able to turn that into 24 fast break points, and that helped in this one immensely. I talked about the Ronald Holland dunk, but there are a couple other easy buckets in transition because of Laker turnovers. So all that said, got to give some studs and some love to more of the Detroit Pistons. Cade Cunningham in particular, thought he played really well. And let's see if this is a game that can galvanize this Detroit Pistons team and maybe just a road trip as a whole, because they're already 2-0 on the road trip with wins over the Phoenix Suns and the LA Lakers. It doesn't get any easier because right after Christmas Eve, the day after Christmas Eve, Thursday, December 26th, the Pistons are on the road against the Kings before closing out the road trip on the road against the Nuggets. That's a Saturday 7 o'clock tip-off 9 o'clock tip-off. All the different time zones are so confusing. You just got to bear with me. Check your local listings, because then not always the go-to on that. But appreciate everybody tuning in tonight, albeit a late night. One more comment to get to. I'm sorry I didn't see this one until now. TD Kozak, great win tonight. Caught the Lakers feed. They thought the Pistons' physicality was a big difference. Great podcast. Have a great Christmas. Much appreciated, TW Kozak. We are always on after Pistons games, after Lions games, and after Tigers games, and after Michigan Wolverines games. But I always enjoy catching the telecast of the opposition. Tonight I had Johnny Kane and Special K, and the physicality certainly was an impactful component of the game for the Detroit Pistons. You saw that from every player on the court. You saw it from Cade Cunningham a couple of times. You saw it from Paul Reed, who, again, I keep going back to Paul Reed, did not score a point, but plus 20 in the box score. You got to love that. So, yeah, if the Pistons can get back to playing great defense, forcing the opposition to turn it over, and the physical style of defense, I think that's going to bode well for them moving forward. So that being said, appreciate everybody tuning in. Make sure you check out the Locked On Pistons Daily Show with Koo. And of course, your favorite podcast now has a newsletter, and all you have to do to get that newsletter is go to lockedondaily.com to start your day with the all-new free Locked On Pistons newsletter. And as always, we appreciate you tuning in. Make sure you like today's video. That goes a long way. Subscribe to Locked On Sports Detroit, because like I said, it's all part of the Locked On umbrella, and it's free content each and every day. Your team each and every day, and your post-game shows with me, Jake Rietma, on Locked On Sports Detroit. So have a wonderful evening. Merry Christmas Eve. Happy holidays. Looking forward to continue to bring you Detroit sports content all through the holidays. My name is Jake Rietma. Follow me on Twitter at Jake_Rietma. Pistons beat the Lakers 117-114. They're 2-0 on the current road trip. Our next Pistons postcast Thursday after the Pistons take on the Kings in Sacramento. Until then, have a wonderful evening. Merry Christmas from all of us here at Locked On Sports Detroit. My name is Jake Rietma, and have a wonderful night. We'll see you next time on Locked On Sports Detroit.